What's going
Damn.
on, folks? Well, welcome back to another episode of Charm City Heavyweights. It has been a minute. I'm the
He
host,
is way
Matt
better than
Trigger.
you at bringing us
With
in. My bad.
yes, he is. Adam is fantastic.
That shit usually
He is
takes a minute.
fantastic. Yes, it does. It usually takes a minute. Josh, you have been on a little bit of a hiatus. I'm glad to have you back on screen, buddy. Um, we got a lot to talk about. We have not covered the first two preseason games. We got to talk about the Orioles. We got to talk about the comments John Angelos made
Stupid ass.
to the New York Times, and a little bit of
Jackass.
baseball news that we haven't addressed yet. But that is what's on the agenda for tonight. I want to thank everybody for participating and viewing the last two trivia giveaway shows in Josh's absence, and they were successful. We had a couple winners, so I want to thank everybody for that. Before we get started, Josh, let's get right into it, man. John Angelos seems to shoot himself in the foot more and more
Over and
frequently
over.
these days, over and over
Over and
again.
over. And I used to like him, man. I'm like been defending him like he's not his father, and man.
Let's go with this.
Uh, all
Let's
right.
get
First
on.
off, let me go first. Let me first off, I hate to agree with Ken Wyman on the fan, um, but his rant the other day when this broke, yesterday afternoon, whatever it was. I mean, he was spot on. Like, first of all, even if that is the case, why are you saying it now? Like, we finally got a good team again. Things are going well. Like, it's like a downer. Now it's depressing. Like, now we're counting on my fingers how many years guys are left. Like Adley and the stars of the team. But so why do it now? My second issue with it is it's a lie. It can't be true. I mean, he's getting TV money from two teams. He's getting the shared revenue that just came out, which was I can't remember what it was. I think it was like $60 million. Dude, he's full of shit. Our payroll is nothing. It's one of the lowest in baseball. I
Yes,
mean,
it
where's
is.
the fucking money going? And now he's turning down
And
$600 million as well from the state. Like, what the fuck is happening?
this is all strong arm tactics. He wants an extra 300 million on top of the 600 million that the state has already earmarked for the Orioles. He took a trip down to Atlanta with the governor to look at the Braves setup. The Braves invest the money in their team and in their stadium because they want to win. They have a very good franchise, a storied franchise, just like Baltimore. There's no getting around that, Josh. You and I both know we are on the 40th anniversary of our last World Series appearance and championship. We have not sniffed the World Series in 40 years. We've been a playoff team, but we have not played in a World Series game in 4 decades. Now the team is good. We bought in. We did everything that they asked us to do. We were patient from the AAA and AA ball players that they had on this team for years during the last rebuild. The 100 lost teams, the shitty COVID team, all of that. This right here is what we've been waiting for. And now you're already making built in excuses to when you won't be able to afford or you won't want to pay Gunnar Henderson what he is worth. You're
And
gonna,
this isn't a low market like he likes to say. It's actually a mid market, which is it's a big difference.
and I want to know how much more he can possibly raise the prices at Camden Yards than they already are.
Dude, I think he wants this deal done, and he's listen. When Peter dies, which honestly can be any day, they're talking about this today. The power automatically shifts to the mother, Peter's wife, and she's said multiple times that she doesn't want the team. She wants it sold. She wants it out of their family. That
Because
would
it,
be a
it, it,
blessing,
it would
because
be a
but I think he wants this big set up outside the stadium. First of all, where's the fuck is it going to go? I mean, it's parking lots between the stadiums. They'd have to knock all kinds of shit down. That's historic buildings,
They
right? They're not
they
knocking
they would
nothing down.
have to knock. They would have to knock down that exit ramp off of 395 that's shut down.
Yeah.
They would have to knock down pretty much everything that they can that would be deemed a to be leveled. And the thing is, it's a busy street right next to where the stadiums are. It's not like the stadium is sitting in the middle of the county somewhere.
No.
It's Russell Street. That takes you to 95 and 295, and then it takes you up to the inner harbor. You can't. You're not gonna. They're not gonna give you a whole bunch of land, and then you want to build a parking garage on there. You want to put a school inside the warehouse. You want to put an outreach program inside the warehouse, and you want an extra 300 million. He's going to try and get as much money from the state of Maryland as he possibly can, and then he's going to sell.
Yeah. Exactly.
He,
That's
he,
exactly what I was getting
he's
at.
a
He's going to
thief.
sell.
He is a modern day thief. He is a billionaire's kid, and he is doing everything he can to ruin what's going on. He already made a terrible decision. He openly admitted he should have never suspended Kevin Brown for what he said. Kevin Brown was reading off a teleprompter. Kevin Brown
It's
didn't
sad.
make up. He did not make up that stat. We've been terrible in Tropicana Field until recently.
Yeah.
It's
And what's wrong
it's
with
a
saying
factual statement, and then you draw the ire of broadcasters across the entire country. You're ridiculed. If we are 30, almost 31 games above 500 right now, we have not been this far above 500 in years.
Dude, if we go, if we go 500 the rest of the way, we can win like 100 games or something. They were just saying.
And that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Considering where we were losing 100 games a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Dude, I wish it was like the Packers, man. Like the city, we own the team. We fucking have votes for who we want to run the shit. You know what I mean? That'd be cool as shit. You could run for it.
And
because this is bullshit. I mean, they own the team, but it's our fucking team.
But the thing is, he is doing everything to take the attention off of what's going on the field.
It's sad, man. It's sad.
And now there was a report.
Let me tell you something. Like they lost us for a long time. You know, the fans are back. If they put us through that shit again, man, people are going to go nuts. I know. I've been saying for years now. It's not feasible to. You're not going to be able to keep everyone, but you got to keep Adley. Like at least Adley.
But
like,
the thing is,
and he even could have said it wouldn't have been as bad to me anyway if he would have said, "Look, are we going to be able to keep everyone? Absolutely not. We can't afford everyone, but we're going to try to keep as much of it together as we can."
There's 3 guys on this team that you should keep at any cost and any means necessary.
Yeah, that's an easy
that is
trade.
Adley, Gunner, and Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday they're talking about him coming up in September.
That's insane, dude.
It's insane because the Angels just brought their first round pickup. The Angels are doing everything they can to keep showy, and it's not going to work. But we're not in that predicament. But this is the best team in the American League. 4 months ago when we were sitting here talking about the season opener, the opening day, roster, we didn't think that this was going to be possible. We thought we were going to be an 80, 85 win ball team.
Yeah.
We're another hot streak away from that, and there's still all of September left. And it just blows my mind that they're doing everything they can to take the attention off of the guys on the field. They are playing their asses off right now. You're seeing Gunnar Henderson.
The stadium, the whole lower bowl is full.
Right. And it's crazy that they're saying that there's no money. You're making money from revenue sharing. You're making money from ticket sales. You're making money from Masson. You're making money from, I think, Bam Tech or whatever the hell that is.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
But the thing is, in the day and age of social media and the internet, why are you going to lie to a bunch of people that are invested in your team and that can easily look this shit up?
Yeah, he's a jackass. I mean, and I feel like a moron because I defended the bastard for a while, man. I really
we all did.
Man. Yeah, I thought he was cool. Like he hired Michael. I mean, And he gave him basically full control of the team. Like, that was extremely smart.
I'm terrified that he's not going to pay Elias eventually.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: we don't know the contract that Elias is on. We don't know how many years, what he got. None of that stuff's public.
But the thing is, I'm not talking about how long. I'm talking about when the time comes for his contract to come up.
Yeah.
You don't think the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers or anybody else is going to?
Oh yeah, of course.
They're going to throw crazy money at him to do what he's theoretically done in two separate franchises. If we win a World Series in the next couple of years or this year, he's going to be in high demand. They're going to think that he can go to any of these teams and do exactly what he's doing right now. And you got Gunnar playing great baseball. Taking Adley and making him a split between DH and catcher and letting McCann get in the lineup. You got O'Hearn hitting well. Santander hitting well. Mullins is back, and he's batting anywhere from 1 through 6, sometimes in the 9 hole. You got these guys are all playing for each other, and it's evident there's a different feeling in the city. It's crazy that we are 2 weeks away from NFL kickoff, and we're not talking about the Ravens the way we're talking about the Orioles.
Yeah.
We've been on air for almost 13 minutes, and we haven't even mentioned them until just now.
Yeah.
And right now the division is for the taking. The AL East should be ours. The Rays are falling apart, Josh.
I know. Hey, don't jinx it. But I want a World Series.
It's not a jinx thing.
I want a championship. I want a championship.
So do I. I want us to go for broke this year.
Now. I want it now.
But with the Rays, McClanahan is going down with Tommy John surgery. Wander Franco is probably going to prison.
Going to prison. Yeah.
He's probably going to prison. Did you see
what a source posted a situation release yesterday? It said,
No, I did not.
It said, basically, to paraphrase it, he said he's never going to play a Major League Baseball game ever again once his evidence is out. Apparently, it's bad, dude. It's bad.
Yeah, apparently, he impregnated a 14-year-old girl. I mean, we all know that's wrong. You know, at this point, he's going to be playing on the longest yard baseball team. You know what I'm saying? Like he's done. But the thing is that's the type of situation that can derail a team's momentum. You know, the Blue Jays are middle of the pack right now. The Red Sox are surging. The Yankees are in last place, which warms my heart more than anything in this world.
8 in a row.
and that's fantastic. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that this is happening. And
it's beautiful.
I want John Angelos to shut the fuck up for the rest of the season.
And sign the lease.
Sign the goddamn lease. Sign the lease, take the $600 million, and ask for more when you have a solid presentation of why you need $300 million.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a Sky Dome beer garden in between M&T Bank and Oriole Park. Do you know the area that's in?
Yeah, they bought they made a city. It was the middle of nowhere, and they turned it into a city. I read.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
it is. I'm optimistic. Like I had cautious optimism at the All-Star break, but we're still playing very good baseball right now. We are. I believe in the last 50 games. I saw a stat earlier today. In the last 50 games, we're 32-18. If we can play that way in the last month in the month and a half of the season, we're gonna have a bye in the first round of we're not going to play the wild card series at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll have home field. Give me home field. We play well at home. Mm-hmm. Now am I worried about the 6-man rotation? Yeah, I'm a little worried about a lot of that right now.
I'm not a big fan of 6-man rotations, man.
But the thing is, the 6-man rotation is for it's this type of situation that you need it. Hyde's doing the right thing. I don't question
it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not questioning it. I just don't. I don't like it.
Now, my only not even a solution per se, but what Hyde should do it. If I'm Brandon Hyde, and I'm not, but if I'm Brandon Hyde,
looked rusty today, bro. He looked rusty.
He did.
Shit.
But that bullpen is going to consist of Cano, Batista, John Means, D.L. Hall, Tyler Wells, Colome, Perez. And then you have the 5-man rotation with Kramer, Flaherty, Bradish, Gibson, and
Yeah.
he is Cole Irvin.
Yeah. I like Irvin, bro.
You need to take the best pitchers in the organization and put them in the goddamn bullpen and rotation,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a month.
I
You need
like
to do
Irvin.
it.
Irvin pitches hard too, man.
He does. He doesn't give you a lot of innings, but he's efficient.
Nah, he's
You,
5 innings
you just
efficient,
can't let him
6
get in
innings
the fifth
tops.
inning. If you let him get out of the fifth inning, we're straight. We don't have to worry about nothing like that.
Yeah. I mean, the
But
other day he made it to like the 6th, I think.
yeah, but that's the exception. But if you look at his starts
Yeah,
all
because
year
he's
between
not
the
a
majors and the
starter.
minors,
He's
yeah,
not a starter. He's
yeah.
a middle reliever.
But getting Means back, bringing Tyler Wells back up, bringing up DL Hall. There's
Flaherty
gonna be
looked terrible his last outing.
who did?
Flaherty.
But the thing is, we can't expect these guys to give us what he gave us the game before, where he went 6, struck out 8,
His
and
first game, you mean, against the Blue Jays?
well, I'm saying you're gonna every pitcher is gonna get shelled at least once, and it just so happens he got shelled the last time he was out there.
He's got
Now,
shelled the last 2 times.
yeah, but the thing is now it all depends on how he bounces back. And Bradish right now is our number one. That dude is an ace. He is our number one pitcher. I
Yes, he
love
is.
Bradish is pitching his ass off. He's tied
He
for
wants
first
to
in
win
that.
a ring, dude. He said it. He's quoted. I want
Yeah,
a World Series now.
but that's the kind of guys we need on this team, and they're all buying in. That's why I'm happy as
Oh, they're
can
way
be
bought
about
in.
this whole thing.
And we got a manager, which everybody. I'm not saying he's dumb but he was not considered a top manager hire. He's just supposed to be a filling guy, and I think this dude could be the manager of the future. I think he has like Buck Showalter used to. He's got a real good pulse, a really good feel for the game, and he's really smart with situational baseball, and he's really smart with getting guys in at the right spot at the right moment. That's all like an intuition and a gut feel that good managers have. Like, man, I should go with.
It's
Whoever.
I'm hoping that they can get the rotation stuff figured out. They can figure out who's going to be in the bullpen.
They will.
I
We're
like,
gonna win a ring.
and I know I admitted a pitcher on the bullpen for the playoffs, but Fujinami might be the eighth pitcher. I would think Fuji is so up and down, and I like Fuji. I was at the game against the Mets a couple weeks ago, where he broke the record for the fastest pitch in Camden Yards at 103 miles an hour. Dude throws gas, and it was crazy seeing him and how tiny he is throwing that. And then you look at Batista coming in, and Batista's not throwing nearly as hard as he is.
Yeah.
It was like a mile or two difference. But if we can get a solid 5 innings and let Means and Wells come in, or DL Hall come in, DL Hall is going to be our next Britain, I think.
Yeah.
DL Hall has that same trajectory as Britain had. Tried to make him a starter, drafted him as a starter. He's got enough stuff to give you a solid inning, 2 innings, and he's pumping the ball in there at 97, 98. I want to see this. I want to see these guys just put it together. I want to see an Orioles World Series in my life. I've never seen the Orioles play in a World Series game other than watching like the old HTS, channel that we had, the Home Team Sports, back when we were kids, and they played reruns of the '83 World Series and the '79 all that stuff. But I want to see us play in a World Series game at Camden Yards. We saw 2 Super Bowls, Josh. I want to see a World Series.
I want to see. I'll always say that. I want to see the Orioles do it. I want to see. I want to see. And Bauman just gave up a fucking 2-run home run in the 10th.
Knock on wood. I don't think Bauman's going to make the postseason roster, honestly.
Just threw a ball right down the. Good job, Bauman. Right down the middle, dude. Perfectly down the middle. Dude just crushed it. What a fucking idiot.
Love your
All right,
live
let's move
reaction.
on.
All
Let's move
right,
on.
let's switch it over to the Baltimore Ravens. Our boys that look pretty good. I know the stupid ass preseason streak came to an end last night. The douchebags down 95 decided that they were going to celebrate
Douchebags.
Super Bowl win on
And
August
it was
21st.
crazy.
It
Like
was
the
it
way
was
they acted, like they were
it's
like, what
hilarious.
the hell?
It's hilarious. They act like they've never won
Like
anything.
it was a joke. Like it was a joke. Like
Everybody was making a bigger deal out of it in the media than normal fans. We both know that the preseason is to see what your depth is. We know after our last couple of years where our starters have gotten decimated in the preseason, we know now that it's to find depth. Like right now, we have a couple very hard decisions to make with the roster. Keaton Mitchell's going to make this team.
yeah.
Keaton Mitchell's going to make the team. Melvin Gordon is not. I like Melvin Gordon, but I don't think Melvin Gordon's going to beat out any of those guys. Justice Hill
Justice
has
Hill is running his ass off, man.
he looks faster than he did before his Achilles tear, which is crazy.
Yes,
Um,
he's running hard, dude. He's running hard. Like he's
the
been fun to watch in the
the
preseason.
tight end Vokalek, it's going to be he's not going to pass waivers.
No,
Somebody's going to snatch him up.
yeah.
So
Kohler made a nice snag
Col-
down the middle last night.
Kohler was averaging 32 yards a catch last night. Ricard back at tight end, fullback, he made a
Yeah,
couple plays last night.
yeah,
I'm kind of surprised that the offensive line experiment ended as soon as it did.
yeah.
Um, I do know that left guard might be an issue come opening day, but one person I can tell you will not be the left guard is Ben Cleveland because holy shit, that experiment needs to end. And I like Ben Cleveland. I thought he was
I
going to be
do
a
too.
fantastic offensive lineman for us. They had him playing at right tackle, and that was worse than watching him play right guard.
Yeah, it's bad, man. He's just
That
not
was that
athletic
was
enough
that
for the
was that was
NFL.
awful.
Yeah, he's just
Anthony
not
Brown was
athletic
running
enough.
for his life and had to step up and roll out every single snap. It seemed like when they kicked Ben Cleveland outside. And honestly, if Falele wasn't such a good prospect at right tackle, you could kick him inside the guard for a year. But I think he's just too damn big to be playing left guard. 6'8", 380,
Yeah, yeah, you
370.
don't need
I
that big in
he's
there, guard.
yeah, he's going to be our right tackle in 24. Voorhees is going to be our left guard in 24 when he comes back from his ACL tear. I think that they like that dude Mustafa that plays center and guard. He might be one of those guys that makes the team, which I'm cool with. I'm totally cool with that. Uh, I really think that it's a foregone conclusion, and I know we got to say it anyway. James Prochet plays his last game as a Raven on Saturday night.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
way
he's
this
done.
guy makes a
He's
team.
done.
He's
Yeah, he's done.
Tylen Wallace has played his
How
way
far
on the
he has
team.
fallen, man. Oh yeah, well yeah, Wallace is going to make team anyway because he's a draft pick, but he's also a great special teams player. But Tylen Wallace, man, just to see these back shoulder throws and both his touchdowns in the preseason were the same route. That yeah,
Exactly.
I liked when we drafted him because I liked him in college. A lot of people thought he would have went higher, but the COVID year he sat
Well,
out.
and then he tore
Um,
his ACL too.
and he got hurt, right? But
Yeah.
how cool is it to see a route like that? How cool is it to see all the deep shots last night? Like we're not used to it. Zay Flowers
Yeah,
is
you're right.
fucking going to. I think he's going to be the one that we get right as far as receiver. And I'm not giving up on Bateman, but Zay is he's going to be ridiculous, man. He's just shifty and he's fast and he's explosive out of routes, man. He's just fun to watch. He's
You
going to be fun
you
to
know,
watch on film this year.
you know what I was thinking about last night watching them? I'm
What?
thinking about Zay Flowers catching the hitch and taking it to the house, 26
Oh, it's
yards.
going to happen. Yeah, I
It's
would.
going to
Well,
happen. But I'm
I
thinking about this with the number one offense on the field, and then you got Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, the starting offensive line, and then you got your $260 million superstar quarterback. That's going to look a lot better than Josh Johnson throwing the ball to him.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be throwing the ball all over the place.
Speaking of Josh Johnson, I think he may beat out
QB,
Huntley, but
Q,
I don't
QB
think we're
two.
going to cut Huntley. I think Huntley's going to get put on the IR or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do something because Josh Johnson has proven over the last 2 weeks that
he can run this offense.
He can run the offense, and he's a competent quarterback. A lot of people were saying that he made, the interception that he threw in the end zone was his fault. He didn't step into the throw because he was going to get destroyed by number 79. He was getting pressured. He took a hard hit. Yeah. But if he would have had to step into that, he'd have potentially gotten hurt. And you don't want to put your body in that kind of, damaging situation. Prochet, it just seems like he has a run of bad luck. Anything that's been shitty that can possibly happen, whether it's a drop, the interception, misjudgment on a punt return, anything.
James Prochet is a man that Steve Smith said was the next big thing.
And Steve Smith is not wrong very often, but he was wrong about this one. Now, James Prochet could.
I thought he was a good player too.
I'm not. Me being a armchair quarterback telling a professional athlete he's a terrible athlete is not something I take pride in. But when it comes to fundamentals, he makes mistakes that rookies make in year 3, year 4, whatever this is for him. And there's one thing I'm thinking about too, Josh. I know that we haven't seen a whole lot of them. Who are you keeping between Treadwell and Duvernay?
I think you got to keep Duvernay, but that's a tough one.
It's a tough one because Duvernay's making more money than him. Yeah. And Duvernay, by all accounts, has lost his return role. That's going to go to Justice Hill. Yeah, so what is his purpose in a very crowded wide receiver room now where you've got 5 former first-round picks in the room with you, plus Tylan Wallace, who showed the last 2 weeks that he can play the wide receiver position rather well. You're a $4.5 million number 5 wide receiver. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, Josh. I don't know, but
Last year at this time we were talking about Devin Duvernay being a crucial part of this offense and being a star.
And now we don't know because he hasn't been on the field. He's been banged up, and the best ability that you can have right now is availability. We already knew Bateman wasn't going to see the field in the preseason. We already knew OBJ wasn't going to suit up in a Ravens uniform in a meaningful game until week 1 of the season against Houston. So I'm looking at the wide receiver room right now, and I'm like, Duvernay might be insurance in case one of these guys get hurt, but Duvernay gets hurt. Duvernay's finished the year on IR twice in 3 seasons. He's going into year 4. He's a lot of money. Now, I don't know what our cap situation is looking like to the dollar amount at this point in time, but Duvernay doesn't play punt. He doesn't play kickoff. He was a return man. He was a Pro Bowl return man a couple of years ago. Now,
if anything, I think they trade him. I don't think they cut him because that would.
Well, I'm saying, his spot on the roster is, if anything, they might flip him for secondary help. Now, speaking of the secondary, our Darius Washington makes this football team this year. He is a fantastic third cornerback, a nickel or dime cornerback. The dude can tackle. He shows grit. He's deceptively quick. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be in the cornerback rotation. I really wish we would just decide whether we're going to leave Brandon Stevens at safety or cornerback. He got chewed up by McLaurin last night, which is every cornerback that McLaurin faces, he chews up at least once or twice. That's a foregone conclusion. The dude's a fantastic wide receiver. Haven't seen anything from Darby because he didn't suit up. I like Seymour's playing well. He's going to be probably one of your dime or,
What about Caillou Kelly last night?
Taking his licks, man. He's a rookie. This isn't this.
He did make a good hit on a big boy running back to stop him.
Yeah. He can tackle. That's not in question right now.
And that dude outweighed him.
he's just a little guy, and you're gonna get bodied. You're gonna make mistakes. People were forgetting that we did not draft Kelly to be a starting cornerback. The Washington Commanders ran their ones
Yes.
against us the entire first half when we had our threes in there with the last 5 minutes of the second quarter. So people need to pump the brakes on the criticism of Kelly when he's seeing their ones and maybe their twos. He's on the third team defense.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about the pass rush. We didn't get the Commanders' offensive line sucks. They are garbage, and we didn't sack anybody last night. It seemed like
No, we
uh,
didn't get much pressure at all.
Travis Jones
Ojabo,
showed push.
Travis Jones showed push, but he also makes a lot of mistakes, man. He's kind of starting to worry me a little bit because if he can't get, then we got to depend on Pierce too much, and I'm not dependent on Pierce. Matabuke's got to step up this year. He has to.
And now
It's crucial to this team's success.
Broderick Washington, you got your money. Now it's time to go out and ball. Broderick Washington's a lunch pail guy to me anyway. He's a blue collar guy to me. I think he's going to be just fine. Our defensive line can be potentially deep, or one injury, we're in trouble. I don't want to rely on Pierce to play 16, 17 games, but right now Travis Jones doesn't look like a starter. He's showing flash, but he doesn't look like a starter. Ojabo is starting to worry me because it seems like he's a camp and practice warrior right now, and he's not getting pushed against these second and third string offensive tackles. Now, it has been a limited sample size. I'll be fair.
Yeah, I think he only played like 10 snaps last night.
Right. But you want these guys to be out there at least working on their craft and getting, if anybody should be out there, it should be Owe.
Yeah.
Owe should be out there working on his pass rush moves. Now, what I liked last night, I saw a lot out of Tavius Robinson. The dude was all over the field.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a player. He's just raw.
He's good on the backside pursuit. He's good. He's got pass rush moves, and he's got a good motor on him. I liked what I saw out of him. I thought that he played an excellent game. Trenton Simpson, I know he got shaken out of his shoes.
Suited up. It's his first time suiting up.
Yeah, but that's his first time on an NFL field against somebody that's not in training camp. Yeah. He kind of redeemed himself. I think there's one kid on the team that you can't ignore that should make this team is Malik Ham. The last 2 weeks, number 59, Malik Ham, Baltimore City College graduate, local guy. I think that he should, and that's not because it's a Baltimore bias, he should make this roster. He had a sack last week. He had a forced fumble this week. He's starting to play more and more with the twos as opposed to the threes. So he made that natural progression from game 1 to game 2. I think you need to seriously consider having him as a backup outside linebacker. Him and Tavius Robinson should be backing up Ojabo, Owe, and Clowney, and Bowser whenever Bowser comes back. Bowser worries me because we don't really know what's going on with him, even though he's supposed to be day to day or week to week or whatever it is. But they're dodgy with the injury report. But I liked a lot of what I saw, even though we lost. Those clowns down 95. This was their Super Bowl. That's going to be their marquee win, defeating the preseason streak, because they're gonna win 6 games in the NFC East. They're going to get dog walked by everybody. Sam Howell is not that good of a quarterback. I like him. I think he has promise, but he's not good enough to compete against Hurts and Dak in that division. That's just me, though. And I'm a little salty because they talk shit about a preseason game. I've gotten a ton of text messages and comments and in-person comments. You guys want a preseason game, la-di-da. And I wasn't really concerned about the streak anyway. Everybody that watches this show knows that we have not mentioned that streak one time. Yeah. So I'm not worried about the shit. I'm just happy that it's over, so now we can get back to playing football.
Exactly. I was getting tired of hearing about it. And like I said, they acted crazy. Maybe it's because they haven't won a playoff game in 100 years. I guess I'd be happy too. But listen, I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
I
you a
mean,
question real quick before we move on. With Lamar, man, do you think the Ravens have a backup plan? Like, say it's week 5, week 6, and he's struggling, and he's not understanding, and he's just having a hard time with this offense, or he's having a hard time in general. Do you think they protect him and go back to more what got him to this point?
no.
Do you think there's a
I
plan to
think
go back to that?
nope. I think that if it
Okay.
comes down to it, and we're at like week 8 or 9, and he is just not picking it up, and he's not doing with it, I think he might revert back to the power run, a lot more design quarterback running schemes. But I think from all accounts, from what we've seen in the media with training camp, what we've seen in the media with the joint practices, and the offense that we've seen under Munkin for the first 2 preseason games, Lamar's got to work through his shit. He's got to learn this offense. This is going to be his offense this year. And if all you've been barking about is control and wanting to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage, well, god damn it, you got it.
Yeah, and
The
he just said
the
that with
offense
his
is it's
interview with RG3. He said, "I have complete the keys to the offense." So there's like
you
we said
have
many
the
times,
key.
and we're going to keep saying it. There's no more excuses. And I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I love him. Yeah, I got mad at him during the contract dispute, and I was trying to protect myself from getting hurt. But I wanted him here. We all did. But he has no more excuses, man. He's got the receivers. He's got the money. The thing that scares me more than Lamar's deep ball is this offensive line. That's what scared me a little bit.
The
There's a
thing
lot of questions.
let's
And what's going on
be
with Stanley? Like, why are they being quiet?
but I don't think Stanley's hurt. I think they're just resting him. Look at how chippy the joint practices got over the last couple of days before the
Yeah,
game.
Andrews hurt that dude. That dude got hurt.
Andrews hurt the dude. Tylan Wallace is punching people. Devin Duvernay slamming people. Morgan Moses is punching people. Like, come on. Like, do you really want your surgically repaired left ankle of your star left tackle getting stepped on or rolled on in a scrum? No, you don't. I understand. Keep him in bubble wrap until week 1. Let him work out with the team. Let him run with the ones. Limit his contact and let him do his thing, because he played very well the second half of last year. And we had the same conversation last year, Josh. Around this time last year, we were thinking that I specifically thought Ben Powers was going to get cut.
Yeah.
Left guard. I specifically thought Ben Powers was going to get cut. And we didn't know what we had in Tyler Linderbaum. Left tackle, center, right guard, right tackle are established. They're going to be good. They're going to be in the top half, if not the top third, of their respective positions this year. I'm not worried about that one bit. What I am worried about is left guard. Now, are we going to start that guy Simpson, who we claim from the Raiders? Is it going to be Mustafa? Is it going to be it's not going to be Cleveland. Is it going to be Falele? Is it going to be the other Samoan kid we drafted in the later rounds this year? I don't think it's going to be Macari, because Macari's our swing tackle. He's the guy that comes in if Moses or Stanley get hurt.
Yeah.
Or that I don't, because if they were going to make Macari the left guard, they'd have done it right when organized team activity started back in March. So I don't think he's going to be playing guard unless it's an absolute pinch. I'm looking forward to them letting this sort of stuff out. I think the Samoan, the young Samoan kid, number 71, I think he's got the inside track where the dude can play. I was paying attention to him. He's a body mover, and that's what you want an inside guard. I'm not worried about Linderbaum. Linderbaum is going to be a standout center for the next 10 years for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. And he's going to listen, guys. He's going to be a guy that gets pushed around sometimes too. He's small, so he's going to have those.
He's 300 pounds,
where he gets thrown around. But altogether, I think he's proves that he was a good pick.
It's going to be interesting because a lot of a lot of people put a lot of hype into the preseason game last night, and it was highly anticipated. It was a great game. Um, I understand our tight end Vokalek. I understand he looked good. You know what I'm saying, Josh? I understand that he looked really good. He
Yeah.
caught 2 touchdown passes. But let's just be real about it for a second. He was catching touchdown passes against Amazon delivery drivers. You know what I'm saying? Guys that aren't going to be on
Yeah,
a team
it's
in 9 days. And
exactly. It's preseason.
it's preseason. Is Vokalek going to go out there and do that against the Cincinnati Bengals secondary in week 2? No. We are just blessed at the tight end position right now. There's no way that you're going to keep Vokalek over Kohler, Likely, and Andrews. Now, is he one of those guys? Because then you got to factor in Ricard. And Ben Mason's playing well. Ben Mason has played very well the last 2 games. He's blocked very well. One of the runs that Keaton Mitchell had came off of a lead block from Ben Mason. The dude can play. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that he's an excellent fullback by any means, but the dude can play. And he plays all phases of special teams. And he's a battering ram. He's one of those old school. You can tell he's one of the old school fullbacks. He wears the old cowboy collar.
he sure does.
You know, he's your throwback early 2000s fullback, and that's what I appreciate and like about him.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of hard decisions, and there's gonna be some. I just want our fan base to understand that there's gonna be a couple guys that get cut from this team that aren't gonna make it through waivers, that are gonna be on another roster come week 1, and it's gonna suck. Vokalek might be one of those guys because there's a team like the Green Bay Packers that don't have a tight end that would kick the tires on him, or somebody like the Cleveland Browns who don't have anybody behind Njoku and all those guys. You know, we don't even know if Ricard has a spot on this team. As much as everybody loves Project Pat, we love Pat.
Yeah.
But who were you sacrificing in another position to keep Ricard? Because if you keep Kohler, if you keep Likely, which is not, he's not going anywhere. Andrews isn't going anywhere. Ricard's taking the roster spot of somebody else. Now, if it comes down to it, between keeping Keaton Mitchell and Pat Ricard, I'm keeping Keaton Mitchell. Because Ricard plays one position now. He's not the Iron Man that's still taking snaps at defensive tackle, taking snaps at tight end.
He's an extended guy, don't forget.
And you're right. So there's a lot of dead money there. But the thing is, Keaton Mitchell is one of those players that is not making it through waivers. He had a 35-yard touchdown run last week, and he had a 31-yard run last night where he was one block away from busting a 50-yard touchdown. The man is fast, and you don't want to put him in a situation where he goes to a team and does that for somebody else. He's a second-generation Raven. I've said it on the show plenty of times. He's a second-generation Raven. Keaton Mitchell needs to make the squad. You're just going to have a hard choice somewhere else. Yeah. Are you keeping I think his name is Rayshon Nichols. Are you keeping Nichols to provide depth? Are you keeping Mack to provide depth?
What about Moon?
Are you gonna? I think Moon's the odd man out. Even though he's playing pretty decently, I think he's another practice squad guy. Mm. I think Ham makes the team over him. If you have if the cut downs had to be at midnight tonight, Malik Ham makes the team over Jeremiah Moon. And it's not by a little bit, it's by a lot. Ham shows consistent pressure. Moon is more of a bull rusher. Ham has at least 1 or 2 moves that he knows how to utilize. So I'm cool with it. At inside linebacker, you have 4 inside linebackers. Are you going to keep Welsh even though he's a special teams monster? Do you keep 5 inside linebackers? Are you keeping Harrison and Trenton Simpson? Obviously, you're keeping Simpson. He's a 3rd-round draft pick. Are you keeping Malik Harrison? Are you keeping – is Patrick Queen a trade candidate still? We don't know. By all intents and purposes, he's
I wouldn't be
slated to,
shocked if you see Queen go for a corner.
yeah, that's a very true possibility as well. I'm of the mindset like you, you can't really cut a whole lot of people in the secondary right now because that is the weak part of the defense at this point. Our starting cornerbacks against the Texans are going to be Brandon Stevens and Kevin Seymour.
Mm.
That's where we stay. Or Ronald Darby's going to start. And
Yeah,
are you really going to trust that
scary
Ronald
man.
Darby's going to come in here in 2 weeks, pick up the defense, and take snaps as the number 2 cornerback? Or
Hey, are you
potentially,
forget? What about what's his name? The guy we got from the Raiders. Kyle Sim. What is his name?
who?
The corner from the
Rocky Sin.
Raiders. Rocky Sim. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rock. But we don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. I'm talking about week 1. I'm not talking about the rest of the season. By the time everybody gets healthy, Darby might be our nickel or dime cornerback. We're not going to have to worry
Okay.
about this come November if everybody's healthy. Marlon Humphrey, especially.
Yeah, we need Marlon back.
We need Marlon back. My worry is week 2 when we got to see Joe Burrow. They're licking their chops looking at these cornerbacks. And it's going to be imperative that Darby plays. It's going to be imperative that Rocky Sin is back. I feel a lot better if we go into week 2 and Darby and Yasin are our starters. Even though I don't have the most confidence in them, I think they'll fare rather well because a lot of people are forgetting the impact that the front seven is going to have, especially with the healthy Pierce, Roquan having a full off season in the system. Roquan is the best middle linebacker in football, and I'm not saying that because he's a Raven. I thought he was the best middle linebacker in football when he was a Bear. Um, it's I'm interested to see Jadeveon Clowney how he looks. I think that he's gonna. It's crazy he signed here, and I think that probably played into it. Josh, I wanted to bring this up to you, and I just remembered it. Every team that Jadeveon Clowney has previously played for, we play them all this year. The Browns, the Titans, the Seahawks, and the Texans.
Yeah.
So he's got 5 games against his 4 former teams. So I think that he's definitely, you know,
That's a good point. That's a good. It might be.
but
It might be.
I'm still gonna hold true that he's not gonna
Especially
have double digit
Cleveland, because
sacks.
that ended. He kind of screwed Cleveland over, man. So
He did, but Cleveland ended up going to get Zadarius Smith anyway, so they still have a good bookend to Myles Garrett.
yeah, fuck Zadarius for what he did to us last year.
I blame
He's
Von
a
Miller for that, but
bitch.
that's neither here nor there. But I'm excited, Josh. I think that we're gonna have a solid chance at making a strong run this year. I'm interested to see how Saturday goes against the Buccaneers, and then it's going to be a flurry of waiver wire moves after that game with the Buccaneers
Yeah,
because
I love that time of year. It's one of my favorite
all
times of the football season, right before the season starts and all this crazy shit
there's
happens.
always there's always a couple of surprise cuts. I think if a veteran cornerback gets cut, I think the Ravens might jump on one of them. It might maybe like one of those surprise guys. So I'm not going to hold out. I'm not going to be pessimistic about the cornerback position until I see what our depth chart looks like in between the last week of the preseason and September 10th.
It's fair. It's fair.
But I know you said you had a couple of things you wanted to ask me. Did we cover everything, buddy?
No, we covered it all.
My man, it was good to get back into the groove. Glad you're back
Yes,
on
it
air with
was.
me.
Back
And
on air. Welcome back to the cave, everybody. I didn't get. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the show. My bad on that.
yeah, we jumped right into the Orioles. You were still kind of pissed about the Oriole game.
Yeah.
Um, we might give you guys a show before Saturday night. If not, we'll do a reaction show right after the third and final preseason game. And that is a wrap on Charm City Heavyweights for tonight, buddy. Go ahead and close us out.
All right, Ravens fans, Royal fans, it's a great time to be a Baltimore sports fan. And it could be a lot worse. We could be Pittsburgh Steeler fans. The Pirates suck. The Steelers suck. Mike Tomlin's their coach. He sucks. And fuck the Steelers. Shut it down.